The Chicago Bears are obviously coming off of a 2022 season where they went 3-14. But to be honest, they were one of the best 3-14 teams that I've ever watched. In the majority of the games they lost, the games were decided by one score or less. So this just goes out to show that even though they only won 3 games, they definitely had the potential of winning a lot more. Even though they weren't the worst team, they still had a lot of moves they need to make this offseason to become a lot better in the upcoming season, and Ron Poles knew this. And in the 2023 offseason and in the 2023 NFL Draft, Ron Poles has been cooking. Let's start with the blockbuster trade where they got DJ Moore. Last season, Justin Fields didn't have much help around him to throw to. This is why they went and traded for Chase Claypool mid-season, which was a good trade, but they were still missing that true number 1 receiver. So Ron Poles traded their first overall pick to the Panthers for multiple picks and DJ Moore. Their receiving core now consists of DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney, who are all really solid receivers and have that burner ability. Justin Fields now has a lot of help around him, so hopefully next season we'll see him progress as a passer. Not only did they trade for DJ Moore though, they also signed Robert Tonyan, a tight end that used to be at Green Bay but was a free agent. Robert Tonyan is a pretty solid receiving tight end, so he gives Justin Fields another weapon to work with, and they still have Cole Kmet, who last season played really well. So if these were the only moves the Bears made this offseason, their offense would still be looking a lot better than it was last year, but they made even more. First off, let's talk about the loss of David Montgomery. David Montgomery obviously isn't the best running back in the world, but he was solid, and he did help the Bears' running game last year. So losing him is kind of tough, but they signed D'Onta Foreman to replace him. D'Onta Foreman didn't get to play until around mid-season last year for the Panthers when they traded away Christian McCaffrey, but when he got his chance, he shined. So adding on D'Onta Foreman is a great move, and they still have Khalil Herbert, and they signed Travis Homer. The running back room with these 3 guys in it is already looking pretty insane, especially when you consider that Justin Fields can take off too. But also, they traded up in the 3rd round of the draft to take Roschon Johnson. When I saw the Bears do this, I was super excited because Roschon is honestly one of the best running back prospects in this whole class. If it wasn't for Bijan taking the majority of the shine at Texas, I honestly think Roschon would have gotten a lot more hype. He's a big, powerful back that honestly kind of reminds me of a little bit worse version of Bijan. So him and Justin Fields in the backfield is going to be insanity. And then you have 3 running backs behind him that are good as well. Now we all know though, these running backs aren't going to be the best if they don't have an O-line blocking for them. And last year, the Bears O-line was not the greatest. They gave up a league high of 55 sacks, which didn't help out Justin Fields much at all, and they weren't the greatest in the run game. So to help change this, Ron Poles made multiple moves and some great draft picks. To start, they signed Nate Davis, a guard that used to play for the Tennessee Titans. Darnell Wright in the draft at pick 10. They had the 9th pick in the draft, but they traded down to the 10th because they didn't want to take the chance on Carter, and they just went with their gut feeling and took Darnell Wright. I don't hate this decision because who wants to draft the top 10 talent and then find out a week later that he's done something to get in trouble and he's off your team? So Darnell Wright gives you a solid tackle to add on the other side of Braxton Jones, who is also a stud. After the pickup of Nate Davis and Darnell Wright, their O-line is looking like this. Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright the tackle spots, Nate Davis and Tevin Jenkins at guard, and then Cody Whitehair at center. This O-line honestly looks like one of the better O-lines in the whole NFL now. Justin Fields should have plenty of time to throw, and the Bears' run game, which was already great last year, is going to be even better. We've got to give credit where credit's due and acknowledge what Ron Poles has done. He has completely transformed this offense into potentially one of the best offenses in the NFL. Now, it's all dependent on Justin Fields. We've seen the passer that we're looking for Justin Fields to be in the past at Ohio State, so I think it's only a matter of time before he transfers that over into the NFL. And if he can do that, I honestly believe the Bears are going to be one of the hardest teams to stop on offense. Now, while the offense had a lot of holes last year, the defense was in a lot worse position heading into this offseason. They had some big-time struggles, not only against the pass, but also against the run last season. But once again, Ron Poles is doing Ron Poles things, and he went crazy. First off, he signed TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds in free agency. TJ Edwards played a huge role in the Eagles' road to the Super Bowl, and I honestly can't believe they let him go. So being able to pick up a guy like this that played a big role on a defense that had talent everywhere is insane. Tremaine Edmunds might not be as good as TJ Edwards, but he's going to be a great duo alongside of him. He spent the entirety of his career with the Bills, and throughout his time with the Bills, he's been really good. So both of these guys together should do a great job at not only stopping the run, but also being pretty good in pass coverage as well. Like I said earlier, the Bears had a chance at Carter, but they didn't want to take the risk of his off-field issues. So instead of taking Carter in the first round, they took Gervon Dexter in the second. This pick is a lot lower risk than taking Carter in the first, and he's still an amazing player. Out of all the defensive tackles in this draft, I had him ranked as the 3rd or 4th defensive tackle, so this pick in the second round has a lot of value. He's going to help toughen up the interior D-line of the Bears, which wasn't the greatest last year, so this pick in the second round has a lot of value, and it's at a position that they really needed. On top of this, in free agency, they also signed DeMarcus Walker and Andrew Billings. Andrew Billings was a rotational guy for the Raiders, which isn't a crazy signing, but he definitely will help. But DeMarcus Walker, on the other hand, was a really solid player for the Titans. Last season for the Titans, he put up some great numbers, and he's going to help the Bears not only at stopping the run, but also in the pass rush. He's long, athletic, and he's not too old, so I'm happy to see what he'll be able to do for the Bears next season. They added these 3 guys that are going to help greatly, but they also added another guy to go on top of them. In the 3rd round, with the 64th overall pick, they drafted Zacch Pickens. Zacch Pickens is 6'4", and he only weighs 305, but he plays with an absolute motor. He's super athletic, and he's going to be even better next to Gervon Dexter that they drafted 11 picks earlier that I already talked about. So overall, their D-line and linebacker core is looking pretty solid. The only thing we haven't touched on is the secondary. They didn't make any moves in the secondary and free agency, which I thought was weird, but what it should have pointed out to me is that they were looking at people in the draft. And in the draft, they once again got a high-value pick at pick 56. They drafted Tyrique Stevenson, a corner out of Miami. This flipping him, I'm sure he can be a top corner in the league, and he can be exactly what the Bears are missing. In the 5th round, at pick 165, they also drafted corner Terrell Smith from Minnesota. This is once again another great value pick at where they were. Just like Tyrique Stevenson, they got another super athletic guy that has a super high floor with a lot of potential. He jumped 34 inches and ran a 4.41 in his 40. He's also sitting at 6'1" with a weight of 204 with a pretty long wingspan. So once again, if the Bears can develop him, he'll be a high-level corner as well, and him and Tyrique Stevenson can be a really good duo. Overall, the Chicago Bears have probably had one of the best offseasons I've ever seen, and definitely probably had the best this offseason. If I had to try to predict how many wins they're going to have next season, I would definitely say they could hit that 10-win mark. I know this kind of seems like a lofty expectation since they only won 3 games last year, but they have made so many moves this offseason. I honestly just think it's up to Justin Fields and how he progresses, because if he progresses well, I could see this team being really good for a long time.